As I go through the story of my road to Thailand, there will be never-before-seen pictures and video clips of times we wandered around Thailand, Vietnam, and maybe some of Canada. I realized that after I said in a previous video that my story was in another video, that I never really told the whole story. Here is a deeper dive into that story. Oh, and by the way, for those of you that are visiting for the first time, my name is Steven, and the Thai lady you will see on my channel is my wife Nutch. I joined YouTube in 2010. Back then I knew nothing about the fact that you could actually get paid to produce content. I joined because you needed to if you ever wanted to make a comment on other people's videos, which I did. In the beginning, I did upload a few videos that was just content really for personal reason. Example, a retired friend, now living in Texas, wanted to see the fact that my garage door opener I installed actually worked because I'm not a handyman. Nonsense like that. To this day I can't believe that stupid video received 14,000 views. And a Tommy John's underwear review got 44,000, probably because of the thumbnail, which by the way, isn't me. By 2016, I probably knew that money could be made by creating YouTube content, but I'm just an average guy, and even though I pondered the idea, I had no idea what I could do that anyone might be interested in. Looking back on things now, I should have recorded my trucking ventures because there are a lot of truckers with channels that are doing very well. As 2016 was drawing to a close, not only on the year, but also on my marriage to my first wife, I already had it in mind that once I started going to Thailand, I would get serious about creating content. Stepping back just a little, late 2015, early 2016, my wife and I decided it was time to call it quits. As 2016 rolled along, and I realized it was really over, I started looking at dating websites. I'm not going to dwell on that topic just yet, because it was really a non-issue. I will say this as it is kind of important for the story, a bit later into this video. The two dating sites I joined yielded the same results. The women that I was interested in were not interested in me. And the women that were interested in my profile and reached out to me, I wasn't interested in them. The bottom line here is, I spoke with only a couple of women, but never met any one of them face to face. I realized I was going about it all wrong, and later on, I readjusted my approach to dating, especially online. More on the dating aspect a little bit later. One of the red flags that alerted me to the fact that my marriage was in trouble was when I spoke with my wife about the topic of retirement. I always told her that because of my career as a long-haul trucker, I wanted to retire somewhere that it doesn't snow. At least be outside of Canada from November through to April. Her reply was, "Good luck with that." Turns out that was no longer her plan, or at least not with me. So after my failed attempt at online dating in North America, I turned my Google searches into the following keywords. Where in the world can I retire where it doesn't snow, safe, cheap, and good health care? Of course, as I was getting older, health care has to be on the list. Even before the divorce, I was a subscriber to a magazine called International Living, which is exactly what it sounds like. Articles focusing on places to live internationally. I originally focused on Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Costa Rica, Panama, and I think even Ecuador. The magazine mostly focuses on the positive, and the more I dug in online, the less I liked this part of the world. That statement opens me up to some hate, I'm sure, because I never had the money to actually put boots on the ground to see for myself. If you have traveled to any of the aforementioned countries, don't be shy. Leave a comment below. After all these years, my channel is growing at such a snail's pace that I usually have time to read all the comments and reply. Divorce is expensive. I literally started from scratch. I was 54 in 2016, so I was praying I still had time and my work, so I could get out of debt and back in the black. For those that don't know, that simply means financially profitable or at least out of debt. I learned something extremely significant during our divorce. When you are a husband and wife with children, a mortgage and a car, you really accumulate a lot of stuff. We had so much stuff that we hadn't put a fingerprint on, in some cases, years, that I said to myself, "Self, don't do that again. Try to live a minimalist lifestyle." And I was, for a while. Until I came off the road and took a job as a driving instructor. I moved out of my sister's house to the city the company hired me to work out of. I took a chance and rented a lovely 2-bedroom, 2-full-bathroom apartment, and to save money, I started an Airbnb, which worked out perfectly. I only mention it because in order to provide my guest with a 5-star experience, I had to accumulate a lot of stuff. Just know that from the divorce in December 2016 to this new job, it was now December 2019 when I moved, and I had already been to Thailand 3 times by this point, so I better get back to that. Sorry about the sidetrack, but those were details I didn't want to leave out. Okay, so we are back in 2016. The divorce proceedings are rolling right along, and I've all but given up on the online dating scene. My focus was finding a cheap place to retire for the winters. The Google searches proved very fruitful. With the keywords checking off all my boxes, Thailand quickly rose to the top of my list. Keep in mind, even though I may have read a paragraph or two in the International Living magazine about Thailand or Asian countries, they honestly were not on my radar simply because it's really the opposite side of the world, and I figured it would cost a fortune to fly there, plus the language barrier. When I really started looking at Asia, I was first looking at China of all places. But I quickly ruled China out for a number of reasons. One was cost of living and another would be the weather. The more I looked at Thailand, the more intrigued I became. No matter which countries I was interested in, I would always watch YouTube videos by those that had boots on the ground, because you not only got tours, but lots of expats talked about cost of living. And so it was. After millions of videos about Thailand, I decided I wanted to go there.
Nutch is enjoying this coconut drink. And there's a coffee in Vietnam for 45,000 Vietnamese dong. 2 sips and it'll be history.
Now you know some of the story.
I'm depressed.
The video coming on the screen should be part 2, the rest of the
Is it
story
delicious?
of how I came to Thailand.
Good.
See you there. Cheers.